if I told you that there was a line that separates the spirit world and the physical world, the intangible world and the tangible world, the formless world and the world of form? Well, there is a line, and that line is called the line of manifestation. When you understand how to consciously cross over the line of manifestation from the formless into the formed, when you learn how to create your cause in order to produce your desired effect according to the law of cause and effect, manifestation will no longer be up to luck and chance. Manifestation will become something that you do intentionally. In this episode, episode 5 of Forming the Formless, I will be teaching you about the line of manifestation, how creation moves from the formless into the formed, and how you can consciously guide creation to create whatever it is that you desire. My name is Jason Shurka, and this is Forming the Formless. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Forming the Formless. This is episode 5, all about the line of manifestation, the line that separates the unmanifest from the manifest, the line that causes infinity to form into a finite form that's temporary, but that you experience in your physical reality. When you understand the line of manifestation, when you understand how the line of manifestation works, when you understand how the formless realm holds all potential of form, but most importantly, how to form the formless realm from a higher perspective, through thought, through belief, through words, through intention, through visualization, you will be able to become the master of manifestation. And that's why it's one of the foundations when it comes to this Forming the Formless series. Remember, the foundation tells you an absolute truth, and there are very few of those. The illusions are what we believe when we forget how the foundations work. So before I go deeper into forming the formless with the awareness of how the line of manifestation works, because you already know what the line of manifestation is, I want to tell you all a quick little story, a story of a personal firsthand experience of mine that allowed me to realize this spontaneously, that allowed me to see the line of manifestation in my day-to-day life, and thus bring that teaching and realization into a more conscious way of creating and manifesting what I want to experience in my day-to-day life. So there's a quote by Albert Einstein. Before sharing this story, I want to share a very important and foundational quote that really lays the foundation for the story that I'm about to tell you. It's actually what inspired my perspective of the story that I'm about to tell you. And that quote is by Albert Einstein, and he said the following: "Look deep into nature, and you will understand everything better." And that sounded all fun and cool until I actually understood why he said that. The genius himself understood that everything is apparent in our external surroundings, because our external surroundings is a reflection of what is going on within. And what is going on within has no limitations, because we come from Source. And in that way, we are infinite and limitless spiritual beings having a physical experience. So when it comes to the quote of "look deep into nature and you will understand everything better," the story that I want to share with you is all about me looking deep into nature in a very unnatural environment. So a few years ago, I used to live in New York City. I lived in a one-bedroom apartment, everything that I needed. It was great. It was awesome. But I lacked one thing. And that one thing that I was lacking was nature. I looked all around me. I looked out the window, and all I saw was a concrete jungle. So I craved being closer to nature. So what was my next step? I said, why don't I start growing things by the window of my apartment? Let me see what I can do. I've never planted a seed in my life before that point. So I figured it might be a little trial and error, but I went for it. And it was a lot more than just a little trial and error. It took me a very long time to figure out how to get something to grow, but the point did come, and I figured it out. And that may sound crazy to some of you because it may seem very easy, but I'm telling you, with the conditions and the environment in New York City, it is not that easy. So I planted a bunch of different things. First of all, I did buy a tree that was in this awesome pot, and it was my form of connecting to nature. But I had a tomato plant, and I had basil and mint, and that leaf that smells like lemon. I don't know what the name is, but it tastes really good when you put it in hot water and make tea from it. It was great. It was awesome. One morning, I believe it was a Thursday morning, I went to a yoga class. I came back. It was super early, still like 6:30 in the morning when I got back. And I'm sitting in silence and presence with myself, looking at this tree in this nice little pot in my apartment, right in the corner by the window. And I saw my windowsill was covered in all these different herbs and spices that I was growing. And I said, well, wait a second, there's a huge pot, there's a huge planter that I can actually fill with these herbs, like, I mean, not so much an herb, but a tomato plant and mint and all these things that I was growing. And I said, well, why don't I actually put it in the same planter that this big tree is growing out of, and there will be life in the planter instead of there just being empty soil with a tree coming out of it. That was my vision. So I started doing that. And it took some time to grow, but things started sprouting. And I had all these different plants growing out of the same planter. Another morning, I come back from yoga. I'm just appreciating the plants that are all growing in this planter. And then it hit me. And I said, well, wait a second. There are all these different forms, creations, plants, herbs, this tree, this tomato plant, the mint leaves, the basil, the lemon leaf thing. It was all coming out of the same planter, all coming out of the same soil. And the question came up in my mind of, how is it, more so of a realization, how is it that all this different form is coming out of the same exact place? And that's when I saw the line of manifestation by looking deep into nature and thus understanding everything better. The soil holds all form in the physical realm when it comes to plant life. And the seed that we plant in the soil is what gives the form, or I should say the formless, the ability to form with an energetic blueprint of what that seed holds. And all these little seeds, you plant them, you give it some water, the soil is the home of what they grow out of, and all these different forms come out of it. Meaning, in the physical realm, once again, the soil represents the formless realm, and the plants represent the form. So that led me to ask the question, well, where is the line in between this process of ongoing creation, which we call manifestation? And I understood that in this example, it was the seed. So I started looking deep into nature when it comes to the seed. I wanted to learn more about seeds. How do seeds work? And in short, a seed pretty much holds the energetic blueprint for what it's going to grow. And it's pretty cool because you see that all these plants also give off more seeds. So all these plants give the initial spark of that plant. So when it's planted, it all comes out. And this all sounds simple, but let me give you the results and the conclusion of what I got out of it, because it was unbelievable. The seed in nature is no different than the seed of your thoughts. If you plant a poisonous seed, you will get a poisonous plant. If you plant a healthy seed, you will get a healthy plant. But never, if you plant a tomato seed, will you get an apple tree. And never, if you plant an apple seed, will you get a watermelon plant. And never, if you plant a watermelon seed, will you get corn. It's not going to happen. Because the seed in and of itself is so powerfully focused in its energy, with its energetic blueprint, that it causes the formless to form in a very focused way. So we go to cause and effect. The seed is the cause. The plant is the effect. If you can create a focused cause in a conscious way, then you can formulate a cause in a way that will produce your desired effect. Doing that is called becoming the master of manifestation. It's called becoming the master of this matrix, because this matrix is not a fundamental reality. This matrix is rooted and stems from the infinite formless realm where all the potential of infinite form exists. So your initial thought is the line of manifestation. The thought in and of itself is the line of manifestation. Your thought is what dictates the formless to form. Your thought is the initial thought, which is the seed that manifests everything else, just like the blueprint of a home. And going back to the beginning of this series, in the first and the second episode, I gave the example of a home. Take this home that I'm sitting in right now. Before it was a home, it existed in the homeowner's mind to say, I want a home, as a thought. From that thought, architects, engineers, contractors, electricians, painters, all these people came together to build the home. What started as a thought formulated into a blueprint. That blueprint gave the plans for the contractors to do their work and build the walls and build the structure. And that plan gave the electricians everything that they needed to know how to run the wires and where to put the outlets, and so on and so forth. The point here is that the seed of that home was the initial thought that one had to build a home. From that, the blueprint of the home was created, and everything else followed in order to build this home that I'm sitting in right now, in order to build the home that you're sitting in right now. That's how creation works. And back to what we said in the beginning of this series, Forming the Formless, it doesn't just start with the thought. In order to consciously guide a thought, you first have to have the awareness that the thought is not the root. It's the seed in the physical realm. But there is a place where that thought came from. And that place is the realm of infinite possibilities, the formless realm. The reason why it's so important to be aware that the thought comes from the formless realm is because knowing that will allow you to operate with that thought in a limitless way. If you know that the thought comes from a limitless place, then there are no limits to what you can produce from that thought. So again, when it comes to cause and effect, if you can produce and formulate your cause in a very intentional and conscious way, Your effect is an effect of that cause. And therefore, by doing so, you become the master of manifestation in your own life. You're always manifesting. The question is, are you doing it consciously? So now the question is, how do we do it consciously? That's the most important part of this episode, after understanding everything that I just said. And in the last episode, I did mention that I was going to make an entire series all about the language of energy, how to use words and beliefs and thoughts in a very conscious way. And I will, but this is going to be the beginning, the spark of that series that will come next. So how do we create a seed? How do we create that conscious seed, that cause to produce the desired effect? 3 very simple things that you always have to remember. A formula that I'm actually going to be speaking about in a different series all about the language of energy, but I'm going to start touching upon it here. 3 components of that formula in an acronym is IBV. I for intention, B for belief, V for visualization. You create your seed through intent, aligned intent. Aligned intent means focusing on the subject that you want. In other words, not saying, I do not want to be sick, but saying, I am healthy. Same intent, 2 different productions of what that seed will produce. So aligned intent with the focus of the subject that you want to manifest and experience. You want to experience health, focus on health. You want to experience wealth, focus on wealth. You want to experience abundance, focus on abundance. You want to experience love, focus on love. Focus on the subject you want to experience, and that's what you will manifest through your aligned intention of focusing on that very subject. Next is belief, a very important part of creating that seed. What you believe will reflect in the way that you experience reality. And I'm going to give you 2 scenarios that I've given in the past, but I'm going to give it here again. Scenario number 1, I will go to the movies tomorrow. Scenario number 2, I will win the lottery tomorrow. Your belief probably tells you that going to the movies is easier than winning the lottery. But I will tell you that regardless of your belief, both are equally possible because both are simply experiences. Experience A, experience B. Forget about the weight that we put upon each experience because of our belief. Both are equally accessible. The question is, what does your belief system tell you about each experience? So we tend to tell ourselves it's harder to win the lottery. Therefore, it happens a lot less. But it doesn't need to be that way. What you consider hard will be hard. What you consider easy will be easy. What you consider as just is will just be. My recommendation is stop believing things that are counterproductive to you. When you believe something, ask yourself, is that a productive belief based on where I want to go? And if it isn't, move on. Your belief is very foundational to creating that seed. It will dictate how the seed produces. It will dictate how the seed manifests from the formless into the form. It will dictate how creation pretty much manifests through the line of manifestation. So we have intention, we have belief. The last part is visualization, which works hand in hand with belief. If it's hard for you to believe something because your belief system is limiting you in and of itself, then work with visualization. One will help the other. Visualize as clear as you can, as clear as can be in your mind's eye. This is what I see. I see it very clearly. If you can visualize already having it, you have it. And that practice of visualization and knowing that you have it will make believing a whole lot easier. The same goes vice versa. If it's hard for you to believe, use visualization. It will enhance your belief. If it's hard for you to visualize, use belief. It will enhance your visualization. So the three components of creating your seed are intent, belief, and visualization. Intention, have aligned intention, focus on the subject you want to experience and manifest in your experience of reality. Belief, make sure that you are possessing and practicing and exercising your belief system in a way that is productive to you. Hold productive beliefs that really manifest and express the reflection of experiencing the effect that you want to experience by formulating the cause that you are formulating in a conscious way. And lastly is visualization. See crystal clear what you want to experience and know that you already have it. Through those three components of intention, belief, and visualization, that is the beginning of creating your seed in a conscious way. That is the beginning of becoming the master of the line of manifestation and guiding creation and away from the formless realm into the form in the most conscious way that you know how to, through your intention, through your belief, and through your visualization. Remember that energy flows where attention goes. And always remember that where and how you choose to focus your attention will dictate the quality of your life. So to sum up this episode, all about the line of manifestation, I encourage you to start practicing with manifesting what is already within your limitations and beliefs. Start small. Gain confidence in yourself when it comes to your intention, your belief, and your visualization. As you start with the small steps, those steps will be able to get bigger and bigger and bigger as you gain more confidence and belief in your ability to do just that. In the next episode of Forming the Formless, episode 6, I'm going to be speaking all about the harmony of balance, the law of balance, understanding how balance is all there is. One doesn't exist without the other. And when we understand the harmony of balance, it will make it a whole lot easier to understand the illusion of separation. With that being said, separation still has a place in our physical experience of life. But we always must remember that it is an illusion. And in order to completely understand the illusion of separation, understanding the harmony and law of balance is the first step and one of the main foundations that will bring you there. That's what I will be speaking about in the next episode of Forming the Formless. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Forming the Formless, episode 5, all about the line of manifestation and the initial spark that will really start your journey in becoming the master of your own life and the master of manifestation. I'll see you all on the next episode of Forming the Formless. My name is Jason Shurka, and this is Forming the Formless, accessing and elevating your spirit and soul. I'll see you all next time. Subscribe. Hey, thanks for watching this video. There's so much more I'd like to dive into, but unfortunately, we can't do that here thanks to the heavy censorship efforts from big tech. If you want to explore this topic further, you can dive deep by accessing our entire uncensored library on unified.tv. There's a link in the description below this video if you want to check it out. A membership to Unified TV gives you unlimited access to hundreds of uncensored podcasts, investigative journalism, documentaries, films, and content that was once available on major streaming platforms like Netflix, but is now banned from the internet. For just $14.99 a month, which is less than $1 a day, you get access to it all. Your subscription also helps keep the platform running free from censorship and corporate influence. Please consider supporting us and enjoy all of our unfiltered and thought-provoking content in return. Thank you very much, and I will see you on Unified TV.